Oh, I need it higher. Yeah, yeah. I'm tall. The where was Oaxaca, Mexico. The who was a group of bachelorettes who were gathered to celebrate our friend Corinne. The what was a hurricane. The how, to get out in time before it hit us, is what we were trying to solve. All of this made more complicated by the fact that of the 16 women on this trip and the one fantastic gay man, one of us, your girl, was paralyzed. Let me rewind a minute. It was 2021, and my friend Corinne invited me to celebrate her bachelorette in Oaxaca City, Mexico. At the time, my mailbox was flooded with invitations to bridal showers, bachelorettes, and weddings. I myself was single, alone, heartbroken, if you're going to push me on it, okay? And it wasn't the kind of eat, pray, love, live, love, laugh, embrace singledom. It was very non-consensual. No, I wanted someone, and I'd actually been gearing up to propose to my ex, and we lived together, but he did dump me over email. And we just don't have time for that story tonight. So I was down on love. And I was also down on money, because when you're a single person in your 30s, your money and your PTO, it actually doesn't belong to you. It belongs to dresses and airfare for the weddings, to go invest in people who have dual income. That's just, I don't make the rules, I'm just letting you know. So if I sounded embittered on romantic milestones, it's because I was embittered on romantic milestones. In my defense, I was also a little bit anxious about going on this trip because my closest companion at the time was a chronic illness called ankylosing spondylitis, which sounds like a wizard spell, but is surely not as fun or whimsical. I also surely wish J.K. Rowling hadn't turned into such a freaking TERF so I could just say Harry Potter on that one, whatever. Stop distracting me. So doctors also call this degenerative disease bamboo spine because vertebrae by vertebrae, your spine starts to fuse and you can lose all mobility. Some people end up in a wheelchair. And it shows up differently for different folks, but for me, what it means is every so often, with no rhyme or reason and no warning, I am walloped, I am bodied by a blinding nerve pain that is so excruciating, moving even a centimeter is out of the question. Actually, the American Medical Association on the pain scale placed ankylosing spondylitis just a smidge beneath childbirth. So I was basically with Nick in the labor delivery room, okay? I wasn't sure if this debilitating and paralyzing disease would strike while I was in Oaxaca, and I was afraid of that. But I loved Corinne, and I wanted to show up for her, as friends are called to do, even if they feel sad and single and sickly. So I pushed through, and I went, and I was shocked by how much I loved it. I had such a good time. We stayed in this big, beautiful villa. There was mezcal and mole and a swimming pool. I got to see my best friends from the Bay, and every new bachelorette I met was fantastic. There was this pelvic floor therapist, that's a great job, you know, named Dana. She was so kind. There was this Australian woman named Saranke. She was Australian. Obviously, she was hot and chill, you know, and she was just like, if you see the casserole-sized spiders in Australia, you don't bother them. They don't bother you. I'm like, I don't care. I'm still not going to Australia for that reason. By the third night, I had really caught my stride. I was directing a very lewd but very masterful musical production of all the men Corinne had dated before her soon-to-be husband, when a familiar pain started to crawl down my back. It was not the best thing for me at the time, and my first reaction was, no, no thank you, I'm not interested, I'm not letting you in, I'm not inviting you to the party. I had pushed through the personal work of coming on this thing, you don't get to be here right now. But denial is not just a river in Egypt or whatever as they say, and by 5 a.m. that morning, I woke up to an electric pain and my spine was totally arrested and I was paralyzed. It's going to be okay, I told myself. I can just wait it out. I can just weather the storm. Yes, I'm disappointed because I invested in these activities with my nonprofit salary that I can't make, and I'm going to miss out on the feeling circle, and I know I sound like a heartless crow, but I love feeling circles. But you can just wait, and you're going to be okay. And oh, how naive I was that I thought that the stakes were only as high as a non-refundable, authentic Mexican cooking class, because Remember that hurricane at the top of the hour? Well, we had previously been told that it was no big deal, just a coastal kiss. It's going to pass the city, doesn't matter. Things change, fam. Turns out it was a really big deal, and it was coming right for the city, and all flights out of Oaxaca were going to be grounded for the foreseeable future. Cue chaos. All the bachelorettes who had a spouse or a partner to call, which turns out to be every bachelorette except for me, start calling their spouses, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends to get help booking tickets out of there. A group of 10 of them find an 8-hour bus ride to Mexico City in the middle of the night. They invite me to join them, but you know that scene in like a zombie apocalypse movie when the group is saying to an injured person, "Come on, we'll wait for you, you can make it." And the injured person is like, "No, go on without me, that's polite to say." And then the group is like, "Oh, thank God, say less," like we're gonna go. Like, shit. It was like that, There was no way my spine could handle an 8-hour bus ride. There was no, oh my gosh, the thing is, don't tempt me with a good time, Joe, because I like the sound of that violin, so I'm going to keep going. There was no way my spine could get out of the bed, much less the hotel room, much less the country. So as everybody scrambled and as the bus crew took off, I started to wonder who in the zombie apocalypse was going to come and save me. The next day, things got even worse when we heard the final flights that were going to be allowed out of Oaxaca were going to be taking off in the next few hours, and the bachelorettes had to decide what the hell they were going to do. We all summited in my bedroom. I was surrounded by 7 women. We looked like a Renaissance painting. I had witches doing spells, healing priests, reading me my final rites, I don't know. And we're all just looking at each other one by one to decide what to do when one of the bachelorettes, my dear friend Stacy, looks at me and she says, "We're getting you out together." Thus, Operation Get This Busted Bitch's Ass Out of Here commenced. Everybody helped out. Dana, the pelvic floor therapist, she carried me to the bathroom. She pulled my pants down for me. She held me tenderly as she made eye contact with me, a relative stranger who she held above the bathroom as I pissed. She barely knew me. Saranka, the hot Australian woman, don't forget about her. She told me that she would abandon her flight to Australia if need be so that we could bunker down in Oaxaca together. A relative stranger, she had only met me 3 days earlier. All the bachelorettes were helping out and doing something. One of them packed my suitcase. It's not how I would have packed it, but beggars can't be choosers, okay? My God. One of them heated up rice packets that I could use as a makeshift heating pad, the only pain relief I had for my back. Another one went out into the literal storm in the rain and got me food so that I could guzzle ibuprofen and have something in my stomach. And then one by one, all the bachelorettes are leaving in the taxis, and then there's 4 of us. And 3 very short but very strong women carried me slowly, but it was excruciating, down the longest, most turbulent stairwell out of the villa. We race to the airport in a taxi. We get there, a wheelchair is secured for me. Conversations and explanations are being had on my behalf because honestly, the pain is so bad that I can't talk anymore and I just have to close my eyes. I'm gently hugged goodbye and I'm sent off to the terminal where other Oaxacans, everybody got out safe, was flying out. I was strapped to a medical gurney and stiff as a board, but not light as a feather, I was carried up into the plane. For the next 7 hours, I blacked out and white-knuckled my way out of the 2 flights home to Los Angeles, but I made it back safely. And a week later, after a haze of pain lifted and I could remember what happened to get me home, I realized no one person, no matter how much romantic love they had for me, could have pulled off all of that. It was a village of bachelorettes and Oaxacans that carried me, literally, through the storm. So no, I did not have the comfort of one singular romantic love, but I had them. And I realized my spine is actually a lot stronger when I let all the parts work together to support me. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.